We had some questions on the homework. This questions were about unions and intersections. So if we had the set -8 to 2 and the other set 2 to 7, what is the union and the intersection? I'd recommend just draw yourselves a number line. We have, I don't know, 0 somewhere. -8 is to the left, and then 2 is over here. So -8 to the number 2. And it doesn't include the -8 or the 2. So it's a parenthesis or an open circle on them because that set doesn't have the number -8. It has all the numbers up to -8, but not -8. Likewise, it has all the numbers up to 2, but not the number 2. Then the other set has the number 2 and it goes to the number 7. But the 7 has a parenthesis, so 7 is not in the set, but 2 is. So if first one here wants you to do the union is the one set and the other set all put together. Well, you can think about it, maybe if you draw a line up and down, the number -8 is not in a union of the two sets because it's not in either set, but all of these numbers are. And then the number -2 is because it's in the one set. As long as it's in one of the two sets, it's in the union of when you put it all together. And so 2 is in it and all the way up 2, but not including the 7 because 7's not in that set. So it's not going to be in the union of the two sets. So that made it from -8 all the way up to 7, but not including the -8 or the 7 because they weren't in either set. And then you would like to know what is the intersection of them. There's no intersection because there's nothing that the two sets have in common. An intersection is where they would overlap at, what's in the one set and also in the other set. And they don't share anything in common. They're separate and there's nothing that they share. All right, and the next one was number 15. Okay, at number 15, again, I would draw it. So on the left, you've got negative infinity, and on the right, you're going to positive infinity. And so we have the set negative infinity up to the number -7. And again, -7 is not in the set. It goes up to it, but doesn't include the -7. And then we have the set -7 to positive infinity. So notice these two sets do not overlap because they don't share the number -7. It's not in either of the two sets. So when you do the union of it and put them together, you can't include the -7 because it's not in either set at all. So you just leave it out. So it's negative infinity to -7 union of -7 to infinity. And then likewise, there's no intersection because they don't overlap at all. If there was some overlap, then there would be an intersection, and there's not. All right. And then they also wanted to know about number 22. It'll show up. Oh, there it is. All right. So commutative and associative. Associative is about parentheses and brackets. Commutative is about the numbers changing position. They're not in the same position. I like to say that they commuted to work. When you commute to work, you travel around. And associative means who you're associating with, who your friends are within the house, who your friends inside the house. So look at the numbers here. It goes 6, 2, 8, 6, 8, 2. They moved. The numbers are not in the same order from the left to the right. So they commuted. And they commuted with addition because there's addition signs between them. If it would all been smashed together with multiplication, then it would have been a commutative of multiplication. Notice the same numbers are in the parentheses, 2 and -8. Over here, -8 and 2. I mean, they're switched, but they're still in the parentheses. So they're the same friends inside the house, the -8 and the 2. They haven't changed. So that's how come it was commutative property of addition. All right, so if you have more questions, let me know. Have a good night.